dreamer. Ooh, the asphyxiation of hearts? Lucky draw.
We are being observed. The Worm Queen wishes to gloat. Her troops are no longer her own, but she cares little for them. Void Fishers, you need them to open a relic, but are you confident you can withstand their fury? You found a fissure. Look out for reactant. The Orican Neural Sentry is attempting to purge you from this place. Stand by for life support. Dropping reactants. All manner of Orican technology may work here due to the Circulus's proximity. If you have a necromech, you may use it. Keep fighting. Look for more reactants. The relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
Cool.
Sentient scouts. If they detect you, fighters will soon attack. The sentient has detected you. Fighters incoming. research. But if you need to leave, extraction is ready. These manifestations, they aren't from the neural century. Destroy them. They are drawing from your life support. You are going to need more reactive. Want to open our relics.
Well, that was quite something. Hmm. Um, I suppose it depends on a lot of it, because I think Warframe does I think it does a pretty good job of establishing its own continuity and staying within it, for that matter. I'm I've been better, I've been worse, so I'm doing all right, I suppose. And this is the part where I leave because oh, got a test tomorrow and you didn't study. See, but like But like, why didn't you study? Is it is it because did you just didn't have the time, or like you just felt you didn't need to? But now you're like, maybe I should have.
Excellent work, Tenno.
I think I think if you had that confidence at one point, you should continue to maintain that confidence. Just walk in there, sunglasses on, take that test, and I had to take a hit. Take that test and just ball out. Didn't have the time plus procrastination plus confidence. Then I realized test might have. Oh, I see. Well, just do do what I would do and just walk in there and uh get, guess like it's a tarot card reading and completely out of your hands, right? And I mean, it's all that's left to do, right? Your best. I I was looking at this earlier and I didn't realize exactly what it does. Uh I see. No, no. You can't give yourself a zero before you even take the test. You could get a one. So, oh, oh, my lungs really are recovering. There's no way I breathed in that much. Jesus Christ. Fantastic. Hey, you know, gacha games are quite something. I need to figure out if, you know what, I'm gonna look it up. Hold on a second. Hmm. There are more heat damage abilities in the game than I realized. No Grandmaster grind for Marvel. Uh uh mm, I don't know. I might at some point, I guess. But uh I don't know about that. Marvel Rivals is a game that takes too much out of me to continue to play, you know? The Void Flood, the Fisher. Oh boy. Alright, here we go.
They're dropping reactant. Use it to crack open a relic.
Yeah, I'm just personally not a big fan of hero shooters, and I'm not a big fan of team-based games in general. Hero shooters just more so than usual. It's fine.
Not bad.
The angels have torn open another rupture. Fill it with Vitaplast before this whole shit goes topsy-turvy.
As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to typos, as long as there's not another word that's like similar to it, people shouldn't trip on it, because realistically, right, what else would you have been trying to type aside from, well, I suppose marbles, but that wouldn't make sense, so I assume marbles.
Rupture sealed. On to the next.
If you're shooting specifically games like CS:GO and Valor and not that type of games, yeah, I don't know. To be perfectly honest, I I've never understood the crazy obsession with CS:GO and the like and Valorant and the other games that have these like big bomb defusal modes as the only Rainbow Six Siege, Call of Duty. I I'm pretty sure the most popular mode in Call of Duty is Search and Destroy. It's just I prefer other I prefer other game modes. I might actually be inclined to give those games a try. The team aspects of these other games and such modes. See, my thing though, right, is I have it's what you know what has truly ruined me when it comes to team game modes and shooters. Destiny. Destiny has truly ruined me because nothing will come close to what it felt like to play to play some of Destiny's competitive modes, particularly Gambit Gambit Prime specifically was the pinnacle of a PvP activity. Destiny had very generic game modes for the most part, right? It had Capture the Flag, it had Supremacy, which I think in Call of Duty it's kill confirmed, and I don't even know what it is in any other games, but it's you kill somebody, they drop something, you don't get a point for the kill unless you pick up the item they dropped. They had
Void saturation causing further
Capture the Flag, and they had Domination, which I think was Control. So yeah, because the big thing about Destiny was that it's what made it different from the other games, and this is true for this is true for Titanfall as well, because it's the feeling of the game. You can do the same thing you could do the same thing you do in Call of Duty in either of those two games, and it will feel completely different from both sides, both from doing it yourself and from getting hit by it. When you get it's like if you get sniped in Titanfall, there is not a single person who's mad about getting sniped in Titanfall. If you get sniped in Titanfall, it's like, oh shit. It's like, that was cool. That's crazy because I'm moving at like 100 miles per hour. How did you hit me? It's like, what kind of cracked out aim do you have, brother? That's insane. But and then in Destiny, it's a different feeling. It's if you get sniped in that game, assuming you aren't over there with max accuracy on your shit, because that's Destiny has an auto aim stat kinda. But when you get sniped in Destiny, a lot of the time it's just you. So it's one of two things. There's one of two feelings associated with getting sniped in Destiny. It's either you motherfucker, or it's I fucked up. It's one of those two things, because when you get sniped in Destiny, you know it's about to happen. there is a Destiny has a system where it's special weapons, so it's more powerful weapons that are liable to one-shot you. That's sniper rifles, shotguns, the secondary, and I believe the tertiary grenade launchers, fusion rifles, linear fusion rifles, etc. They all have a what? Where there it is. They all have a light on the end of them that it's different colors depending on what weapon you have out. I don't remember what the colors are, but some of them are significantly brighter than others. So when you turn and you see somebody and you see this big ass bright light
Sorry about this.
as they switch to their sniper rifle, you take cover. That's just how you play the game.
Meet the repressed fears of teenage hunter.
It's like, if you don't take cover, you're liable to get shot. You can't get mad at something you knew was gonna happen. It's like, and if you do get mad, then it's like, well, realistically, PvP is probably just not for you, which is perfectly fine. PvP is not for everybody, but in terms of normal PvP, Destiny's golden PvP era was the first Destiny. Just as a whole, it was just better in almost every aspect. And then in terms of out of the ordinary PvP modes, namely Gambit, that's the big thing for Destiny 2.
Collected enough reactors to open the relic.
It is unfortunate the state that Destiny's currently in. Everyone was kind of expecting a third game, to be perfectly honest. I would have preferred if they did go with a third game, because I don't see starting over as a downside. Though, granted, that's possibly because I play a lot of roguelites, and B, I play a lot of RPGs that have sequel entries where the main character loses all of their abilities, or at least most of them, as we move on to the next installment.
Can always do more. But if you can't, I have marked an extraction point.
Yes, Destiny PvP was great. It was great mainly because it made you feel like you played bad instead of feeling like the enemy BS through your play. Yeah, that's how it was for the first Destiny specifically. When you get to Destiny 2, that's when things get kind of odd. Because that's when you started getting things like, hey, if you flick with the knife and you just happen to scan over the enemy's head, the hunter's throwing knife has tracking on it now, and it can fly off into the distance, completely off the map, and home all the way back in and hit the person in the head. And it's like, okay, so first of all, that's probably not supposed to happen. Second, what made you decide to give this one-shot kill thing a homing property in the first place? Yeah, it's like the other thing, and then but it's not like it was just hunters that had bullshit. Everybody had their own bullshit. I played all the classes pretty evenly. Pretty much every time an expansion came out since the very beginning of Destiny 2. So for almost 10 years. Every time an expansion came out, every time a new season started, every time they did an update that had an event happen. So the Halloween event, the anniversary events, all of that, every time that an event happened, I switched which character I was playing as my man. So I've played all three of them pretty evenly. Hunter obviously more than the others because it just is my main class, the one I enjoy the most. But it's like people try to tell you, it's like this class is broken, now this class is broken, now this class is broken, and it's like no. The game is shittily balanced. Everything is broken. It's like, oh, it's Hunter's turn to be broken. Oh, it's this turn. It's Warlock's turn to be broken. Oh, it's Titan's turn to be broken. It's like, okay, so people at some point were complaining that Titan's shoulder charge was a one-shot. The only people complaining about that is were the people that didn't understand how Titan's shoulder charge worked. Titan's shoulder charge required you to start sprinting. Actually, it required you to be sprinting. For you to be sprinting, you have to have started sprinting and run for at least like I want to say half a second or so. That's not the case anymore, by the way. You can just do it immediately. You can just hit the sprint button and melee, and you'll just shoulder charge instantly. But at the time, there was pretty much like a wind-up time to hitting full sprint. It wasn't very long, but it was long enough that you couldn't just start sprinting and shoulder charge somebody on sight. Like it would not be faster than just shooting them. But it was a one shot, and some of the Titan subclasses allowed it to do some pretty cursed things. Not gonna lie. Same with exotics, but that's another story. And it's like, okay, so they have to start sprinting to get theirs. Warlocks had to basically do some fighting game short hop air dash bullshit where what they would do is they'd jump, Icarus dash, shotgun melee. And your melee can cancel any animation pretty much, so you would cancel the recoil of the shotgun with your melee, and it would instantly kill people because your melee half healths people. so you would just instantly kill people like that. They wouldn't. So half the time, if you do it right, they don't even hear the shotgun go off. It's just somebody died in front of you. That's it. Hunters had a lot of things that were odd at different points in time. The big thing was, well, so originally the big thing was the smoke bomb. Oh, people hated that shit. You could just throw it on walls or on a ceiling or something, and it pretty much was a combo. It was because you had to jump. You had to jump, cancel your upward momentum with your dash in the direction of the person you wanted to hit with this, and then you had to shoot and melee at the same time because depending on what you're dealing with, they might be able to get out of it otherwise. Like, if it's a hunter, they might be able to dodge roll out of it. In Destiny 2. And same with Titan, if you're too slow, and depending on their exotics, they might get a shield that just negates your one-shot combo. Pretty much, yeah. But But hunters had a smoke bomb that would poison people, so they would just be taking damage over time. It also, if you hit somebody directly, would instantly kill them when it exploded. It was a one-shot headshot. Notice how I said headshot. It's because you have to aim the hunter's melee. It's the only one that you had to properly aim like a gun. Granted, not the case anymore. It just homes in on things.
Well done, Tenno. Your pellet has opened.
Should you need a break, self-extract at the marked location.
How did it go from somewhat balanced to absolutely broken? Well, a lot of things got moved around because of a lot of complaints from the vocal minority. So, this is something that I just hate about games in general. Is that a lot of people will be content with something and a very small percentage of people will not be, and they'll take to Twitter and to Reddit and etc., and they'll just start slandering this one aspect of the game, even though it works perfectly fine for the people that actually enjoy that part of the game. And then changes start getting made, and the people that enjoyed that part of the game are like, well, that didn't need to happen, but all right. So they're not gonna sit there. It's like they're not gonna complain because, as far as they're concerned, it's just an update to the game. They just have to deal with the consequences of the other person's tomfoolery, I suppose. And the and the casuals are like, oh, thank God this got changed, and then because there's no such thing as in terms of good game balance, there's no such thing as a flat nerf. Yeah. Honkai Star Rail. The the only things I know about Honkai Star Rail come from a couple of friends of mine, and the fact that I borrowed one of his characters to do something and just trivialized the entire game, and I just kind of just having the option to do that made it feel like trying to do things myself was futile because I didn't have the character, and I lost interest in the game very quickly because I just felt like no matter what I did, I was never gonna reach that point because the character that he had was, well, it's a gacha game and that was a limited time banner, and they're not gonna come back for a couple of years apparently, and I'm like, okay, well, fuck me, I guess. It's like, and I'm not gonna sit here and stockpile my fucking ticket things to just to wait for when she comes back out again. It's Acheron, the purple sword lady. Got her like whole title, but I think it's Galaxy Ranger Acheron or something like that. I don't fucking know. But she just like one-shots everything because she does true damage or some shit. I don't know. but incoming next banner, yeah, see, here's the thing, right? You wanna know when I stopped playing the game? I stopped. I stopped playing the game. I stopped playing the game like what? I think Boot Hill was about to come out.
I have opened an escape lift for you. Use it when you need it.
I don't even know how long ago that was. It genuinely, I don't know. Yeah, so that's it's like it sounds about right that she's about to come next banner because it was like a year from when I stopped playing. Actually, we ran like 2 times before. I see. I all in a relatively short time span. You know, honestly, I don't even know if I can be surprised by that. I don't know if I should be surprised by that. Because there's what I understand, there's lesser as good or better, less or the same investment. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't particularly struggling or anything. It's just the fact that I could, the fact that I had the option to use, to, the fact that I had the option to use this particular character that was able to do this thing that I just wasn't gonna be able to do in an undisclosed amount of time was just like I don't. This it irritated me. It's like I went to what the fuck is it called? Hold on. Is it GEC? The the it's like the big technology convention that they do every year where people show off their. Oh no, it's not particularly related to gacha. But the big technology convention they do every year, that's CES. So it's like I went to CES and saw and got to use something that was like really convenient and really baller, and then I was like, when is it gonna come out? And they're like, we don't know. It's like sometime in the next decade maybe, and I'm like, okay. It's like by the time it comes out, I'm just irritated that I haven't been able to use it this time, or all this time rather. I've found my way to get it. I've gotten around it by the.
Void readings are normal. That's nice.
It's like how. Yeah, it's like how I really wanted to play I was really excited Fantasy Star to come to America because it was announced like forever ago, and then it just didn't for a really long time. And then by the time that it did, I stopped caring. I didn't care anymore. By that point, I'd already played like 50 to 100 different other MMOs, and I'm just like, I don't care. It's like MMOs are not unique to me anymore, especially not the Fantasy Star brand. I'm just like, I don't care. It's like I've got significantly more unique MMOs that have real character to them by now. It's like I understand that Fantasy Star is what it is. I'm not gonna say that it's not good and all that, but I don't care about it anymore. Granted, I started playing Fantasy Star 2 New Genesis now, but I can't bring myself to get invested in the story or anything. And the gameplay wise, it's cool, but personally, I find myself wanting for more because I got so heavily into Black Desert. The combat in other like action combat games is just, it feels so lackluster to me. It's like how I got spoiled of Silk Song flashbacks. I got spoiled about character creators because of Skyrim, because of modded Skyrim. I used to play modded Skyrim all the time, every single day. It was the only game I was playing for a long time, aside from maybe some, I don't know, some Warframe every now and then, and some other very specific games that don't really exist anymore, unfortunately. I have a big backlog of forgotten games, some of which are still playable through through some some witchcraft. These people were able to get the company that owns the rights to the game to allow them to pretty much recreate and republish it, and as well as receive the assets all over again. So that specifically is for a fun little game called Rusty Hearts. It's an MMO I used to play forever ago. That shit is the big dead. Rusty Hearts Revolution is the fan is the fan recreation of it. It is a private server. It's pretty baller, to be honest. Let me see. It's actually not related to it's actually not related to Kingdom Hearts at all. It's a 2.5D isometric dungeon crawler that's kind of all it's a beat 'em up pretty much. You know, Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, those types of games. It's pretty much one of those in MMO form. Now, what that means is you got combos in that game, and the higher your level gets, and the more crazy the skills you unlock, and the more crazy the combos you're able to do, and the more absurd the enemies become, and the more you have to dodge and block and counter things properly with your skills and all that. And it gets really chaotic, but it's also just really fun. And I truly do wish the best to Rusty Hearts Revolution and its development team, because it is a game that is truly dear to my heart in a couple of ways, no pun intended. And it deserves better. Really, it really does. There's a couple of other games as well. One of them being a fun little game that's been on its last legs for longer than I can remember. You could say it made a kingdom in your heart. 3. Anyways, fun little game been on its last legs. A game called Rumble Fighter. There is no video that could do that game justice. It's one of those games where watching it, it's just like, this looks kind of but when you play it, oh, it's so good. And it's also one of those games where unexpectedly the community is probably the best part of the game. Rumble Fighter does something to your mind. I'm not sure how, but some part of your brain becomes rewired to function in a very specific way when you play that game. And it's to the point where, so Rumble Fighter has it's an arena fighter game, pretty much. That's all it is. However, it's got something called a moving map mode, and it's pretty much what happens if you take a regular stage. Well, so it's one of the many things about Rumble Fighter that is very unfortunate, and also a product of it being more on its last legs, is that it used to have a clan / guild system, and it was in use. It was very in use, in fact. to the point where there were clans that were there were guilds that were very, very well known. Even if you'd never particularly seen them, there's just like pretty much every member of that guild could probably wipe an entire rooms on their own and stuff like that. And it's always nice to see things like that. Warframe used to be kind of similar as well in that they had territory wars that were guild based. I don't know if that's ever gonna come back. I sure hope it does, but yeah, like there was, like, you know, you'd be sitting in the lobby, and sometimes that game you would just have people chatting it up. They'd just shooting the shit in the lobby. But you'd see people pop into the lobby, and there were names that would just be recognized. It's the people that were always on, that were everywhere. And it's just like, yo, what are you doing here? So and then it's like it just kind of became it was a community, and it became a normal thing for you to see the same people over and over again. Even though it was, at the time, this was a game that had quite a bit of concurrent players. When I used to play it, before it shut down and all of that, the first time, it had at least 100,000 concurrent players on NA servers, and it was a good time. You were never out of things to do in that game. Especially because it wasn't your traditional MMO. It was just punching people most of the time. But they had I got distracted. They had a moving screen mode where the screen would pan down and the map was built vertically. And if you got out of the bounds of the screen, you would die. And it became the best way to farm XP and the best way to farm money. Because the game also had a very expansive shop for cosmetics, amongst other things. And what pretty much became what was a product of that mode becoming the best farming tool was a player-made mode called NHAA, no hitting at all. And what that was pretty much when you would go into the lobby. You would make a lobby, you put NHA in the title, and everyone in the community understood that to be no hitting at all. So, as the screen pans down, your entire job is to just make it to the bottom and not kill anybody. And then you wait the timer out, and then you do it 2 more times. So it was pretty much, it was the equivalent of sitting in the lobby with extra steps. And this was also before AFK timers became prevalent, because bots weren't as prevalent or obvious. In fact, I still don't know how well you could make a bot in a game like that, but there were times when people would you could get up and go to the bathroom and be like, yo, somebody save me, and then get up, go to the bathroom, come back, you'd be at the bottom. Because even though it was a mode where nobody would attack each other, if it was to save you from dying, you could attack people to move them down safely. And there were even some weird glitches you could do that the only use for them was to move somebody down safely. But Then they had big dungeons and stuff that had their own drops, most of which cosmetic. They had fighting styles in the form of scrolls that completely changed your moveset. All the way down to what exactly your throw did. It was pretty much you were playing a different character every time you put a scroll on. Everybody had two super transformation things called exocores. They did all sorts of things depending on which ones you had equipped. But that game is still around. You can still play it. It's on Play Red Fox, I suppose, if you plan to give it a try. If not, then, well, it is what it is. Then there's Lost Saga, the saddest game ever because it doesn't exist anymore. Well, it exists only in Indonesia, and the American private servers for it are all flooded with ads and look very illegitimate. They're very cookie cutter, cut and paste of the same site. That was that was the first game that I had seen Hakumen and Ragnar Blededge and Hazama in. That was the first game I saw a lot of characters in, actually. That was the first game I saw Soul Bad Guy in. That was the first game that I had seen Jin Mori in. And they had all sorts of characters in that game. And the gear system for that game combined with the gear system for Dragon Age Inquisition is part of what is a major inspiration for the game that I'm procrastinating on making right now. I completely zoned out and didn't realize that I was the only one. I'm not. Everyone is still here. I think I need to. I think I need to play something else because my brain is understimulated by the existence of Warframe at the moment. And as a result, I'm passing out ever so slowly. Let's close Warframe. What game do we play? I suppose we can play the try not to fall asleep game. I'm curious. How curious. This is a game that I haven't opened since the update. Let's take a look at Naraka. Naraka, please. I beg of ye, just launch. Beautiful. I think Naraka Blade Point update. Fantastic. I I don't even know what the fuck I just watched, to be honest. um the new battle pass. Oh yeah, there's a new weapon. It's time to queue solo.
我が俺様の忠義勇敢
I started passing out and I heard the focus sound effect and I woke up and locked in instantly and I'm so mad that that just happened. Give a fuck. Oh, I see. Forgot about the third dimension temporarily, you know. The ability to move up and down. Like these things. They're very interesting, very odd. Wasn't ready to get kicked off the edge. Wow. You piece of shit. I should probably take his armor. There we go.
ちょっと修復させて。旅にしてくれる。あなた、明らかにね。
暗闇は満ちた。
それ。できない。
I guess they left.
Everything が破壊されるのをとくと見よ。
よし。よっ。行こう。
There's spirit wall. There is. And it's gonna be gone in a moment, probably. So we're gonna ignore that.
できない。
Good night. And good luck on your test.
う相手がいない。よし。
Oh wow. Well, that was interesting. And he was trying to be a scumbag. I know he was trying to because he was doing this. Which, for the greatsword, is that big horizontal sweep that he was doing there. And if you don't know how to deal with it, you can kind of just stun lock people to death with it. It works really well in the earlier ranks. You're joking. You're joking. I refuse to believe that you just landed that counter, friend. Bro, I can't move. What is going on, dude? Okay. I'll pretend that made sense, I guess. Oh, cool. Blue flying knives. It's better than the white ones. Yes.
傷になったわ。
その技見抜いた。
しみる。切れぬものなし。
You fucking get away from me.
ほらほら。行くわよ。
Fuck.
終わりなき大厄災が来る。
すべてを終わらせる。
苦痛に満ちた顔で震えをおののけ。
とってもレアなアイテムに見えるわ。刀が泣いてるわ。行くわって刀が泣いてるわ。すべてを終わらせる。ちょっと修復させて。刀が泣いてるわ。行くわよ。
かっちゃん、武器を落としちゃうなんて。
ちょっと待ってて。ほら。
暗闇は満ちた。
それそれ。ちょっと。さっきは危なかったわ。
My fault. Don't mind if I do.
ちょっと修復させて。
すべてが破壊されるのをとくと見よ。
さっきの忘れて。
I know there's a quest over here. I just saw it before I ran off after she appeared. Oh, I see. It's me and 2 other people alive. Me and 1 other person alive because the other person just murdered my fucking child. Wait, how? How'd they both die? Okay. That's fine. And with that match right there, I'm gonna call it for now. But